most expensive cities in the world. Did you know that there is a survey that measures the cost of living in every city in the world? That's right. According to the 16th Annual International Housing Affordability Demographic Survey, these are the 10 most expensive cities to live in worldwide by 2020. If you think living in your hometown or on your grandparents' farm is hell, then be prepared to pay for paradise in the big cities, because it doesn't come cheap. Number 10, London, UK, 8.2. Any resident can see how expensive it is to live in London. According to the data, it is the most expensive city in Europe. London is quite an expensive city, but the salaries are much higher, so in the end, everything balances out. By living at the same pace, you will save the same amount by living in one country or another. Even in the UK, more because of lower taxes, it can be a good country to control your expenses. The costs you will have living in London are the following. On average, room in a shared flat, $550. House-related expenses, electricity, water, gas, internet, etc., $65. Think about it and make your reservations. After all, it is our cheapest option on the list. Number 9, San Francisco, California, 8.4. San Francisco is one of the most expensive cities in the United States, but it's only the third in California, according to data revealed by the research. 2/3 of U.S. families of 4 live on less than $117,400 at San Francisco's low-income threshold. Across the United States, the median income of a family of 4 is $91,000. For a family of any size, the figure is $59,000. In a country of 326 million people, more than 40 million people and families live below the poverty line. Number 8, San Jose, California, 8.5. Before its Bay Area neighbor San Francisco, San Jose's 2020 ranking has dropped 2 places. It was from 6th in 2019 to 8th in 2020. Score declined from 9.4 in 2019 to 8.5, but it remains the second most expensive city in the United States to live in. Amid the monthly cost of living in San Jose, CA is 22.56% more expensive than living in other cities such as Madrid, Spain. The average monthly expense for a family of 4 in San Jose, California is $3,418.32. For one person, it's approximately $941.21 per month. Both figures exclude the rent of the house. Number 7, Auckland, New Zealand, 8.6. By far the largest city in New Zealand, Auckland's overall score dropped from 9.0 to 8.6 in 2020. The gross hourly wage in New Zealand is $12.54, which means that by working 20 hours a week, as is the case for guys on student visas, they can earn approximately $251, which in hand will be about $212 per week. If we add up all the fixed expenses, we can say that the average monthly cost would be rent $318 per month, food $212, transportation $58, extras $200, telephone, some outings, etc. You might want to wait until it keeps going down in the survey to try to live there. Number 6, Toronto, Canada, 8.6. While it didn't even make the top 10 last year, its score of 8.6 makes it not only the second most expensive city to live in Canada, but the third most expensive in the Western Hemisphere. Overall, life in Canada, housing, food, school, college tuition, is on average more expensive in Toronto and Vancouver compared to other cities such as Quebec, Montreal, Ottawa, and Winnipeg. But how much does it cost to live in Canada? In order for you to maintain a quiet life, the average you can spend on room and board and basic bills is approximately $1,200 in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver. Number 5, Los Angeles, California, 9. In the entertainment capital of the world, Los Angeles' 9.0 score makes it the 5th most expensive city in the world. Real estate prices in LA are exorbitant, especially if you go to areas like Bel Air, Beverly Hills, or Hollywood West. For less than $1 million, it's impossible to find anything. The price of the rents in a medium category area are more affordable. For $1,600 a month, we can rent a single-room apartment. Utilities add up to $150 a month. If you cook every day at home, you'll have to leave about $250 at the supermarket checkouts every month, which is $3,000 a year. A bus or subway ticket costs $1.50. You also have another option, which is to get a monthly bonus with unlimited bus and subway rides, which will cost you about $75. To sum up, we could say that the cost of living in Los Angeles for one person is about $2,450 per month. Do you dare? Number 4, Melbourne, Australia, 9.5. Melbourne is Australia's second most expensive city after Sydney, but also one of the cities where you'll find more job opportunities and better pay. One thing for another. When you land, the prices are scary, so it's best to bring a good financial cushion that allows you some peace of mind until you stabilize and find a job. Rents in Melbourne vary depending on the area and the type of house. For example, a single room in the suburbs is around $200. In the center, it is difficult to find something for less than $250. Shared rooms are usually around $170. Living in Melbourne is not cheap, and at first you'll find it expensive until you get used to it. But you have to consider that the wages are up to the cost of living in the city. It is possible that at first you will find that everything is expensive, but in a little time you will discover the cheapest places with which you can save a few dollars and get to the end of the week. Number 3, Sydney, Australia, 11. It is also the most expensive city in the Southern Hemisphere to live in 2019. Sydney, the largest city in Australia and the largest region in Australasia. Knowing the cost of living in Australia is the first thing many people want to know before deciding to get the Working Holiday Australia visa and go away for a year to work and travel around the country. There is the myth that Australia is very expensive, but with what you earn, even with the smallest wage, you can live very well. It is good to tell you to carry money to support yourself until you get a job. Of course, sharing a two-person room costs between $107 and $143 per person on average. Usually this price includes all the bills that refer to the expenses of light, taxes, internet, etc. Once you get a job, all the expenses become more bearable, because although everyone says it is expensive when you work in Australia, you will see that the money will be enough even to save good money and then travel a lot. Number 2, Vancouver, Canada, 11.9. For many students, getting accommodation from their home country is the best way to settle down in Vancouver without any major complications. However, we can tell you that this is a bad idea, as you may be the victim of a scam. It may be that the accommodation doesn't exist or that the reference photos have been faked. And living in this area of Vancouver isn't cheap either, but considering all that it has to offer, it's worth considering. The cost of an apartment ranges from $1,700 to $2,000, and a room can cost as much as $1,020 to $1,950. So it's best to look for a place to live in Vancouver once your plane lands. This will allow you to compare prices in areas, services offered by each landlord, different housing options, and so on. An apartment in the downtown area, for example, an apartment may cost between $1,710 and $4,500, and a room may be worth between $1,140 and $2,550. We know that these prices are high, but being in the middle of the action is not cheap. Number 1, Hong Kong, 20.8. The dream of most Chinese people is to live in Hong Kong, which is, let's say, their particular New York, and perhaps that's why it's so expensive. It's a small city and it's overcrowded. That's why the cost of renting shot up. And if you think about buying, the square meter costs $28,750. You have two options: spend a lot of money or settle for a small, poorly located apartment, which you won't go for less than $2,400. But people are very friendly to foreigners, as it is a place where new people keep arriving. You will also have a great selection of restaurants to try the most typical dishes, and moreover, at very affordable prices. Public transport in Hong Kong is excellent. It is clean, modern, and you can trust the timetables, as they are never late unless a catastrophe happens. If you go for a ride in the streets, you will see a lot of taxis passing by. And if you decide to take a ride in one of them, you will see that they are very cheap. In Hong Kong, you will have many opportunities to find a job. Besides, the salaries start at $854. It's also the ideal place to start your own company or run a business. It has been rated the third most important financial center in the world. But you should know that in Hong Kong it rains almost every day from April to September. Besides, you may have to face some typhoons. Are you ready for the adventure of living or surviving in the most expensive place in the world? We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave us a like down below and hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos.